What if every animal you see on safari is actually communicating in a secret language, and you just don't know how to listen? Picture this. You're sitting in an open safari vehicle as the African sun begins to warm the earth. Ahead, a herd of impala grazes peacefully. To most visitors, it's just another beautiful scene. But what if I told you those impala aren't just eating, they're having a conversation? Their flicking ears, raised tails, and sudden stillness are all part of a complex warning system that has evolved over millions of years. Kruger National Park isn't just a place to see animals. It's a living theater where every creature speaks a silent, sophisticated language. Most visitors drive right through it without ever understanding what they're witnessing. But once you learn to read the signs, the entire park transforms. You stop just watching animals and start understanding them. Let's begin with the most obvious communicators. The elephants. When a large bull elephant flaps his ears slowly while feeding, he's not just cooling down, he's broadcasting calm. But when those same ears spread wide and stiffen, accompanied by a low rumble you feel more than hear, he's issuing a warning that can travel kilometers through the ground. Elephants communicate through infrasound, frequencies too low for human ears to detect, creating an underground network of information that connects herds across vast distances. That's why you might see elephants suddenly change direction for no apparent reason. They've received a message from miles away about water, danger, or mating opportunities. Now shift your attention to the trees. That vervet monkey chattering loudly isn't just making noise. He's using one of at least 5 distinct alarm calls that specify different predators. One call means leopard, and the troop scrambles up the thinnest branches where the big cat can't follow. Another means eagle, and they dive for thick cover. A third means snake, and they stand bipedally to get a better view of the ground. Researchers have found these calls are so precise that other species understand them too. Dik-diks, baboons, and even birds will react appropriately to monkey alarm calls, a proof of an interspecies communication network operating right before our eyes. But perhaps the most fascinating conversations happen between different species. Watch carefully when a herd of zebra approaches a waterhole. They never just rush in. First, one individual, usually an older female, will stand at the edge for several minutes, testing the wind, scanning the banks. She's reading the landscape for signs of predators. If she detects lion scent on the breeze or sees fresh tracks in the mud, she'll signal the herd with a specific head movement, and they'll retreat to wait. Meanwhile, Egyptian geese on the water might start honking nervously, not because of the zebras, but because they've spotted a crocodile submerged nearby. The zebras understand this avian warning and will delay their drinking until the geese calm down. This cross-species communication creates a safety network where everyone benefits from shared vigilance. Now, consider the quietest communicators of all, the plants. Those acacia trees you see throughout Kruger have their own defense language. When giraffes start feeding on their leaves, the trees release ethylene gas into the air, a chemical warning that nearby acacias detect, causing them to pump tannins into their leaves within minutes, making them bitter and less nutritious. The giraffes know this, which is why they always feed against the wind, preventing the warning gas from reaching trees ahead of them. It's an evolutionary arms race where the landscape itself is participating in the conversation. Even the time of day changes how animals communicate. During the heat of midday, when most visitors are resting at camp, a different language emerges. That's when predators become most active vocally. Lions will roar to coordinate hunts and mark territory, a sound that carries over 8 kilometers and tells other prides exactly where they are. Hyenas whoop to assemble the clan. Leopards cough bark to declare their presence. These acoustic signatures create an invisible map of ownership and intention that every animal understands. The most dramatic conversations often precede major events. Before a thunderstorm, you'll notice animals becoming unusually active. Baboons will gather their troops and move to higher ground. Elephants will orient themselves toward approaching weather systems they can sense days in advance. Birds will fall silent. These aren't random behaviors, they're responses to atmospheric pressure changes, electrical charges, and infrasound from distant storms that humans cannot perceive. The animals are reading environmental cues we don't even know exist. What's truly remarkable is how quickly you can learn to understand this language. Once you know that a standing owl on a branch means it's hunting, while a crouched owl means it's hiding from larger predators. Once you understand that a grazing buffalo with its head up every few seconds is nervous, while one that feeds continuously feels safe. Once you recognize that guinea fowls' alarm calls differ depending on whether the threat is airborne or terrestrial. The entire safari experience transforms from passive observation to active interpretation. This hidden communication network explains behaviors that otherwise seem mysterious. Why do antelope sometimes run from nothing visible? They've heard a warning you can't detect. Why do birds suddenly abandon a productive feeding area? They've interpreted some subtle signal of approaching danger. Why do different species often feed together peacefully? They've established a mutual understanding that more eyes and ears mean better security. The greatest safari moments occur when you stop looking for the big five and start listening to the conversations happening all around you. That's when you realize Kruger isn't just a collection of animals in a park. It's a sophisticated community where every creature, from the smallest insect to the largest elephant, is constantly sharing information, giving warnings, making alliances, and negotiating survival. The animals were never just scenery. They were participants in a drama you're now beginning to understand. What's the most fascinating animal behavior you've witnessed on safari? Share your story in the comments. Your observation might help someone else understand Kruger's secret language on their next visit.